Hello everyone. Today, we'll be seeing how fast or how slow Tangela can beat Pokemon Yellow in a solo run challenge. Let's get straight into the video. Yeah, this Pokemon is going to be absolutely awful, but I want to set you up. Let's look at its stats first. You may think this Pokemon's going to be very nice, because we have 65 HP, 55 attack, which isn't the best, 115 defense, 100 special, and 60 speed. And we're in the medium fast level up group too. And with 60 speed, this gives us a roughly 11.71% chance to crit. So you may be wondering, these are pretty good stats for a Pokemon that can't evolve. What's so bad about it? Well, it's the level up moveset. Because here's the thing, you can't have a good stat pool and have bad level up moves. In Yellow version, we start with one move, Constrict. The weakest move in the entire game. I think still to this day, it has the record for the lowest base power. I don't know if anything else is tied with it, but at level 24, we get our next move, Bind. And then after that, we'll get Absorb, Vine Whip, Poison Powder, Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Slam, and Growth. Growth is a very decent move. It boosts your special by one stage. But honestly, that's probably not the stat boosting move we're going to use, because if you look at our TM pool, it's very small. Just grass and normal moves. But look at the normal moves we do get. Swords Dance, Body Slam, Double Edge. So we can have the best setup move in the entire game. Technically, that'd be Amnesia, just because it works offensive and defensively, but Amnesia is learned by very few Pokemon, so essentially Swords Dance is one of the best setup moves in the game. But you want to know something that's kind of sad? Tangela's moveset got changed from Red and Blue. In Red and Blue, Tangela starts with Bind and Constrict, and gets Absorb at 29. There's no Vine Whip on its moveset, because this thing should have learned Vine Whip. It's literally a pile of vines. But here's the thing, if this was Red and Blue, we could get Bind at level 1. That'll at least get us through a bunch of hard fights early on, but having only Constrict until level 22 is going to be absolutely horrendous. In fact, it's so horrendous, we're barely going to be using the move. We're going to be attempting to use Struggle for as long as we can, because while Constrict is a 10 power move, Struggle is a 50 power move, literally 5 times the damage than Constrict, which is kind of nuts when you think about it. Plus, while fighting the rival in the lab, I end up losing because it's almost impossible to win this fight, and since the rival beat us, that means we're going to have to face the Vaporeon team. I don't really get to face this team that often because you would have to lose the battle here, and not many Pokemon actually end up losing this battle. It's generally very bad Pokemon that lose this fight. But essentially what this means is that the rivals is 3 Pokemon at the end are going to be Vaporeon, Ninetales, and Magneton. So at least we won't have to deal with the Cloyster, because that Cloyster is a beast. But anyway, essentially in the early game, I'm going to spend my entire life savings on potions, and then I'm going to train in the wild for a little bit, and eventually defeat the mandatory bug catcher. And once I do that, I plan to go into Brock's gym and try to blackout train on the junior trainer until I win. But at level 7 with Constrict, I end up so close to defeating the Diglett, but I just can't. And I try this over and over again, but after 3 blackouts, I realized I need to train in the wild just a little bit more. So I go in the wild and just train until I get Struggle, and then I'm actually able to defeat the Diglett at level 9. So now we are going to attempt the Light Years blackout training. At level 9, Constrict can definitely go very slow, but I could get some crits, and Scratch doesn't do much damage because at least our defense stat is very good. Tangela in Gen 1 is very defensive, so we're able to consistently survive, assuming we don't get unlucky with incoming critical hits from the Diglett. The plan here is just to continue to train on this guy until I eventually win, which by the time I do win, the blackout counter gets to around 14 blackouts, and this gets Tangela to level 14. So now with this training done, I need to go into the forest and continue my training, because I skipped all of the other bug catchers, plus I need to train in the wild quite a bit more as well, because the goal is to try and fight Brock at level 18 for damage rounding, and it gives us our best chances to defeating the Geodude and the Onix while using Struggle. But here's the thing though, remember how I said I used my entire life savings on potions? Near the end of all this training, it was actually getting kind of difficult to get struggle without losing HP, because in order for me to get struggle without losing health, I'd have to only fight Metapod, which aren't really the most common encounter in this forest. But once I finished defeating all the trainers and I continued training in the wild, I decided to attempt Brock my very first try at level 17. I just wanted to see if this could work. Brock leads off with his Geodude, and since this is yellow version, it's 2 levels lower and does not know Defense Curl. Technically, it's a good thing in this instance because it won't be making struggle do like 1 HP per hit, but it's still going to be constantly damaging me. But I am able to defeat the Geodude with 24 HP remaining. But here's the thing with struggle in Generation 1, it always deals back half the damage you deal in recoil damage, and you see the Onix has 32 HP, half of that is 16. If I don't have 16 HP going into the Onix at least, assuming I don't take damage, I'm gonna die. So I just decide, you know what, I'm just gonna black out while the fact I defeated the Geodude. I decide to just go back into the wild and try to get level 18. I'm going to try and do it only on the Metapod, so that way I have full health for the Brock fight, because I am actually all out of potions, and I made a mistake of not using my bug catcher money to buy a couple more potions, and when you black out, you lose half of your money. So I was pretty much just dirt broke, so I just had to get struggle off of Metapods. At around 30 minutes into the run though, I am able to go back to Brock at level 18 with struggle at full HP. The Geodude goes the same as before. I'm able to take down the Geodude while having a remaining amount of HP of 39. Then on the Onix, the whole plan is just to spam struggle and just hope for the best. Brock only has a 1 in 4 chance of Bide, but honestly, it using Bind or Tackle wouldn't be too bad because of how good my defense stat is. In fact, earlier in this fight, Bind actually crit me, and it only dealt like 2 damage. Fortunately, after a little bit of time, I am able to defeat the Onix and get the Boulder Badge after 31 minutes. You know what, this may look slow to you, but look at Scott's old Tangela run from like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, solo running has come a long way since then. And just because we're done with Brock does not mean we're done with the torture. I did not heal at the center after Brock. I actually sold the Bide TM and just bought more potions. I need to keep struggle going. The main plan is to keep using struggle until I can get to level 24 when I can finally learn the move Bind. Because unlike Red and Blue, we don't get this move at level 1, which is so annoying. If I had Bind, because here's the thing, if this was Red and Blue and I had Bind at level 1, you know what I would have done? I probably would have just trained to like level 15 or something and just spam Bind and hope for the best. I'm not even sure I would have had enough PP for it though, honestly. But it would have been a lot better than it is in yellow, I can tell you that much. But anyway, I'm going through Mount Moon, still with struggle. I am very low on potions. Even though I still need to do a bit of training, I'm actually not going to fight any of the optional trainers or any of the wild Pokemon. I'm just going to defeat the Fossil Super Nerd and Jesse and James with what HP I have. And I do get 1 reset on the Fossil Super Nerd, and then I realized, wait a minute, I did pick up the escape rope in here. Normally I never pick it up. I was planning on selling it, but I decided to use it to go back to Pewter. And now that I'm back in Pewter, I can actually buy more potions. I will have to walk through Mount Moon again, but at least I can go back to the Fossil Super Nerd and fight him at full health too. Same thing with Jesse and James, although I do get another reset on them. Oh, did I say another reset? More like 5 resets. Yeah, poison types are not fun for Tangela to deal with. And now that we're out of Mount Moon, we can arrive in Cerulean City, sell some more stuff, and buy more potions. Just a heads up, this is definitely way too many potions. I guess I was just trying to be a little safe. And obviously, I don't need to ask the age-old question of should we fight Rival 2 or Misty first. There is no benefit in fighting Misty right now, so I'm going to go ahead and fight the Rival, but this ends up being a very bad idea. And I end up losing pretty quickly after this. I realized what I was doing wrong though. I need to make sure I have Bind for this fight, and I get Bind at level 24. And I have 2 rare candies, one from Mount Moon and one from Cerulean. If I can just grind to level 22, I can use 2 rare candies to get bind and make the rival fight somewhat tolerable. But I do get a reset or 2 on this rival fight before I realize this is what I should be doing. And once I realize this, I go into the wild and train up a little bit, and then I fight the swimmer trainer in Misty's gym, and this gets Tangela to level 22, where I can use 2 rare candies, get to level 24, and finally learn my new move, Bind. But at least with the move Bind, I have a clear path to victory on the rival fight. And I actually do win first try, but something I did after this rival fight is that I did heal at the center, even though I said I was going to be using Struggle. This was honestly kind of a mistake, because here's the thing, Struggle is still far better than Bind. Plus, remember how I said I bought way too many potions? The reason was as I decided to quit using Struggle during this section, so honestly that's kind of one of the biggest flaws I made in this run. I mean, all those other resets and blackouts were either mandatory or unavoidable. But a few of them definitely were avoidable though. Anyway, with Nugget Bridge cleared out, I get back to Cerulean City at level 26. We are now ready to take on the second gym leader, Misty. Misty leads off with her Staryu. I missed my first bind, but fortunately I hit the next one and it crits, and then I'm able to hit the next bind and get to level 27 where I learned Absorb. Yeah, this is going to make the Starmie a 3-shot, and I end up beating Misty with full health after I came in here with full health. So yeah, this was very easy. But we're still not out of the woods yet though, because our next best move is Body Slam. We're still going to need to make it to the SS Sand with Bind, Constrict, and Absorb. So yeah, this is going to be kind of painful. But fortunately, I don't get any bad resets or anything. Not even on the 3 Pidgey Junior trainer. She really loves spamming Sand Attack. But fortunately, she's nice to me today. And now that I'm in Vermilion City, I go ahead and enter the mart here, I buy some super potions and some repels, and now I can board the SS Anne. I was a little torn on whether I should get rest. I couldn't remember if I needed it or not, but Tangela does not need this move because it has access to sleep powder. But then I can go into this room right here and get the TM for Body Slam. Things are finally starting to go better, at least I hope so. And so far, the stars are lining up quite nicely because I completely destroy the rival here, and now we need to go take out Lieutenant Surge. Will he be an actual gym leader, or the assistant janitor of the gift shop? Let's see. Surge leads off with Raichu. All it does is use 2 Mega Kicks followed by an X Speed. Okay, it definitely chose the best moves, but unfortunately for him, neither one of them crit, so I am still able to win. I mean, I'm not going to get this against Surge because he technically did choose the 2 best moves in a row, but he followed it up with an X Speed while he still outsped me, so yeah, he's not the assistant janitor, he's just the janitor at the gift shop, so at least he went up in promotion. And now with the Bike Voucher and Body Slam on our moveset, in addition to Vine Whip, which we just learned by Level Up, we can now do the Route 9 Rock Tunnel Gauntlet of Trainers. None of the trainers here provide me with any problems, because Body Slam for pretty much everything, and then Vine Whip and Absorb for any Cubone, Slowpoke, or Geodude and Graveler, are definitely the fastest way of going through this area. And then I can make it out of Rock Tunnel, heal at the Lavender Center because I ran out of Body Slams, and then we can fade our way into Celadon City. The first thing I do is go into the department store and go to the top floor and buy up all of the TMs here. I want as many high money items as possible so I can sell them for some vitamins. I could have gone into the Rocket Hideout for more, but I really didn't need to do that. Anyway, vitamins. Today's vitamin of the day is Carbos. We really don't need calcium, our special's quite good. We're gonna get Swords Dance later, no need for protein. So honestly, Carbos just to get a little bit of extra speed in the mid to late game will definitely come in handy, especially since I know for a fact we will be barely outspeeding some gym leaders. And now with the Celadon department store area finished, I can get Fly, head to Pokemon Tower. I would say I completely destroyed the rival, but he does come kinda close. He's able to get me to yellow health before I heal it back with Absorb. Here's a little pro tip though. Due to the good AI, the Fearow will only use Mirror Move. Do not use Body Slam on a Fearow if it's going to use Mirror Move, because that Fearow could have paralyzed me. But fortunately, I got lucky. Another place, though, I need to get lucky at are these Channelers, because this one with the 2 Ghastlies, Agatha Jr., as some may call her, my best move is literally Vine Whip, which is anywhere from a 3 to a 5 shot, depending on if I get any crits or not. And it's a good thing I have a lot of HP in defense, because otherwise this will be a lot worse. Fortunately, though, I'm able to defeat the one with 2 Ghastlies on the first try, but I actually get a reset on another one that just has 1 Ghastly, and it was because I hit myself in confusion like a million times. And then with those Channelers defeated, I can go fight Jesse and James at the top, get 2 more resets because poison types, and then I can finally get the Pokeflute, with only 11 resets and 19 blackouts. Yeah, this thing's doing incredible. And now, we are in the mid-section of the game. The entire region is my cloister. I can either go do Cycling Road, Sylph, Erica, or Koga. I decided first things first to go on to Cycling Road. I'm not going to do any of the trainers here except for the biker boss trainer at the end, the one with 5 Pokemon. I'm just doing this just so I can get the PP up here, fight the one biker for XP, and step into Fuchsia so I can fly back later. I'm not going to go through the Safari Zone yet, because in Yellow version, the highest level you can encounter is a level 36 Nidoran, and since I'm obviously below that number, I don't want to risk getting encounters, so I decided to just get the area on the map for now. But I do get a reset on the biker boss because, like I said, poison! And now with Fuchsia on the map, I can go fly into Celadon City, go buy a freshwater because I forgot to, and now we can enter Saffron City and enter Sylph. The whole plan with Sylph is just to do as much training as I can, just to get enough experience to learn Sleep Powder, because once I learn Sleep Powder and have access to Swords Dance and Body Slam, things are going to go a lot faster and a lot better for me. I continue fighting a lot of the good trainers in Sylph, and as soon as I pick up Swords Dance, I'm going to teach this in the place of Absorb. And then eventually at level 39, I finally get Sleep Powder and get rid of Bind. So now this is effectively close to our final moveset: Body Slam, Sleep Powder, Vine Whip, and Swords Dance. You may be wondering why I never taught Mega Drain, because Mega Drain has more power than Vine Whip. It barely does. It's 40 compared to 35, and they both only have 10 PP, but honestly, I don't really need the extra 5 power from Mega Drain, so I never even bothered teaching it. But anyway, our other 3 moves are good. Let's check out the rival fight. The Sandslash is honestly going to be an absolute joke because against grass types, he'll only ever use Poison Sting from here on till the champion. But I still want to Sleep Powder at first because I really do not want to do the fight poisoned. Because as you can tell, Tangela does not like poison. But I do fortunately first try the rival fight despite being poisoned. And then afterwards, I pick up the Lapras for Surf and Strength, even though I already picked up the Squirtle from Vermilion City. That is just a force of habit. I gotta quit doing that. And then afterwards, Jesse and James I can actually beat first try because I have the power of swords at my side. And then I can defeat Giovanni and be done with Sylph. Now, we still have some gyms to do. We got Erica, then Koga, then Sabrina, then Blaine. And the first of these gyms I decided to take on is Erica. She leads off with her own Tangela, but Sleep Powder, Swords Dance, and Body Slam go burr. Okay, let's do the next gym leader. We need to go take on the Poison or Psychic type gym leader, Koga. You may be wondering why I called this guy a Psychic type gym leader. Well, why is his whole team just a bunch of Psychic type Venonats and the Psychic Flying type Venomoth? Like, if they're Psychic types, then would they have Psychic on their moveset? They would. And these things do have Psychic, therefore they are Psychic types, because that's how it works. I only ended up using 2 Swords Dances here, which is kind of a mistake. I really should have used 3. But fortunately, the Venomoth just used a non-stab Leech Life, so it is able to let me live, and I can actually defeat him. So yeah, that was cutting it really close. But like I said, Tangela does not like poison. The power of the mind. And now with Koga defeated, we can clear out the Safari Zone. And then next, I'm going to go take on Blaine. But check this out though. In the basement floor of the Pokemon Mansion, I encountered the level 46 Raticate not once, but twice. This is a 1% encounter down here, the level 46 Raticate, and I actually got it twice. That was very unlucky. Just wanted to point that out though. Anyway, let's go ahead and do Blaine. The one advantage to Blaine in yellow is that while his team is a lot tougher, he has random AI instead of good AI, so his Ninetales isn't going to consistently spam Flamethrower, which would be very bad because with just the regular boost to my speed stat, I still underspeed the Ninetales. But as soon as I get to +6 with my attack, I can one-shot his first two Pokemon, and then I'm going to have to Sleep Powder the Arcanine, but before I can do that, it hits me with Flamethrower, doing massive damage and putting me in red bar. But fortunately, the Sleep Powder lands, and I'm able to two-shot the Arcanine with Body Slam. I had to put it to sleep because a singular Body Slam will not one-shot. And now, inside Saffron City, I go ahead and get myself the TM for Mimic, because Mimic is a very good move in yellow version, and we'll definitely be using it today, that's for sure. Anyway, we need to go take on Sabrina, the other Psychic-type gym leader. Check this out though. With the boost to our speed stat from Koga's badge, we have 103 speed, which actually speed ties the Abra, and it's able to hit me with Flash before I can put it to sleep. So that is definitely not good. I mean, at least the Flash badge boosted our attack up just a little bit, but it's not like it's going to matter though. But fortunately, all Sabrina does is miss a Psy-Wave followed by using Reflect. So yeah, she absolutely threw that fight. And now, through that whole rush of gym leaders, we still have one more gym leader to defeat. We need to go take on the final gym leader, Giovanni. This is going to be the first fight I'm going to have Mimic. Unfortunately, I underspeed the Doug Trio, but it luckily does not use Fissure on me. And then while the Doug Trio is asleep, I'm only going to use 2 Swords Dances, and I'll one-shot it and the Persian with Body Slam. Well, I guess not the Persian, it barely lived in low health. And then as soon as I beat the Persian, I have the opportunity to learn Growth, but I say no. We just don't need it. Then on the Nidoqueen, I can go ahead and steal Earthquake, and because of the good AI, he will not use Earthquake or Thunder. His Nidos will only use Leer/Tail Whip or Double Kick. So it essentially makes it free to steal Earthquake from it instead of the Doug Trio. And because of that, I'm able to first try Giovanni. And yeah, this has been definitely speeding up. Remember how our Brock split was like 30 minutes, 31 minutes? We're at 1 hour 19 minutes so far, and we're almost about to beat the game. 30 minutes in this run was literally 39 minutes ago. So literally beating Brock so far was the halfway point of this run. That shows you how bad the Brock section was. If this thing had started with like a level 1 Absorb or something like that, this run could have gone a whole lot better, like if it was Absorb and Constrict. But anyway, throughout the whole time I've been ranting and stuff like that, the rival fight here essentially goes the same as Rival 5. The Sandslash can only use Poison Sting. I can set up my Swords Dances and then defeat his Execute, Magneton, Ninetales, Kadabra, and Vaporeon. And in this fight here, because of the good AI, the Vaporeon is only going to use either Acid Armor, Haze, or Mist, because those are Ice and Poison moves, so literally the Vaporeon cannot damage me, which is honestly kind of funny. But now with the rival defeated, as we head through Victory Road, we gotta think of what our final strat's gonna be for the league. Like I mentioned earlier, this is essentially our final moveset. We're actually not going to be teaching over any other move for the rest of the run. This is essentially all we're dealing with. You can probably imagine how all these fights are going to go. It's going to involve sleep, setup, potentially steal a move, or spam Body Slam. But there might be some variance with the Elite Four. So why don't we go check it out? I enter the Indigo Plateau. heal at the center, buy some full restores, and now we need to go take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. Lorelei leads off with Dewgong. I go ahead and put it to sleep on the second try because it woke up right away. And the plan is to set up 3 Swords Dances, and then I use Body Slam, and the Dewgong actually lived. That was surprising. So just because of that knowledge, I go ahead and Sleep Powder the Cloister. Then on the Slowbro, I need to mimic Amnesia in order to steal another badge boosting move. But look at this. I don't have any sand attacks up. I actually missed 4 Sleep Powders, allowing the Slowbro to get +6 in its special, which is very insane, by the way. But once I set up the Amnesias, my attack is boosted just enough to where I can one-shot the rest of her team if I wasn't getting so many freaking crits. Anyway though, at least we first tried her. Next up is the Fighting type Elite Four member, the Hiker. This fight would definitely be a bit more interesting in red and blue, because in yellow version, I can actually mimic this Onyx's Dig, and after I set up some Swords Dance, I can use Dig on the rock hard snakes, and then use Body Slam on the fighting types. Next up is the Ghost type Elite Four member, Agatha. Agatha leads off with her first Gengar. I try and use Sleep Powder on it first and set up my Swords Dances before I mimic anything, because in Generation 1, there's a glitch where if you try to use Mimic on a Pokemon that's switched into a battle, it can actually permanently erase whatever move was in the slot of the move you were trying to steal from the opponent, and I was trying to prevent this from happening, because if it did, I'd have to reset. But then, fortunately, I'm able to steal Lick, and with 3 Swords Dances, Lick and Body Slam do devastating damage. Although the second Gengar does live and puts me to sleep, although this Agatha fight was definitely one of the scariest in the league. Next up is the Dragon-type Master, Lance. Lance is essentially going to go the same as Lorelei. I'm going to go ahead and Sleep Powder the Gyarados and use 3 Swords Dances and then 2-shot with Body Slam because our attack isn't the best. And then on the Dragonair here, I go ahead and one-shot it with Body Slam. Then on this Dragonair, I gotta put it to sleep and mimic Ice Beam. This is for the Aerodactyl. I can defeat this Dragonair, and then on the Aerodactyl I go for Ice Beam, but then Aerodactyl hits me with a critical hit Fly and leaves me in red bar. But fortunately, Tangela has really good special, and I am able to one-shot the Dragonite. And now, I have saved 1 rare candy from Lorelei. I used most of them before Lorelei. I can use the candy to get a clean level up to prevent any mid-battle level ups, and now we need to go take on the champion. He leads off with his Sand Slash. It's going to use Poison Sting, but I decided to put it to sleep first to prevent myself from getting poisoned. And it does eventually wake up, but surely it won't poison me, right? You son of a fuck. Anyway though, I'm sure it'll be just fine. As long as I defeat something, I won't take poison damage that turn. And I did steal Earthquake from the Sand Slash, and Earthquake is going to be stronger than Body Slam. And then on the Exeggutor, I'll have to 2-shot it with Body Slam, and then the Ninetales and Magneton are 1-shots with Earthquake, and then on the Vaporeon, I get to level 62, I use Earthquake, and it 1-shots. I clock in with a real time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 15 seconds, with 12 resets and 19 blackouts at level 62, with a game time in the Hall of Fame of 5 hours and 21 minutes. Honestly, as soon as I got Body Slam, this run immediately became good. It kind of reminded me of Victory Bell. Because Victory Bell had Body Slam and Sleep Powder, it also could get Swords Dance. Honestly, this is the same moveset that a Victory Bell would end Pokemon Yellow with. But here's the thing that holds it back. Its starting set is so bad. Like, I don't know why they edited Tangela's moveset. Like, I understand adding Vine Whip, but why would you remove Bind off of its level 1 set? Like, in Red and Blue, if, let's just say in Yellow version, I ran the Red and Blue version of Tangela, if I had Bind in the Yellow run that I just did with the Geodude and Onix at lower levels, I could probably have beaten Brock at level 13 with Bind. Like, honestly, the run would have been a lot better, but it doesn't matter though. At least I finally finished the run. If we take a look at the leaderboard though, we are definitely close to the bottom though, in comparison to other Pokemon like Hitmonchan. And I do know this is a very low bar, but at least we did better than Magnemite. Yeah, it wasn't a good bar. I literally just said that. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this torturous, hellish-like run. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to follow me on my socials or support me through YouTube memberships. YouTube members get access to these videos when I finish them, and the patch files for all the backports we do on stream. Later in the week, we're actually going to be playing with another bad grass type in the early game. Hope y'all enjoy more Pokemon Yellow. I know we did Yellow like 2 weeks ago, but before that, we hadn't done Yellow in so long, so I hope y'all enjoy it. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video.